Hey guys, it's Ashley and welcome to the first book haul of 2021 on my channel. Hi, how are you? Welcome in. If you're new here, I don't do as many book hauls as I used to on my channel just because I made a pact to myself a while ago that I would not spend so much money on books, that I wouldn't buy so many, so I had a bajillion books everywhere in my house, in my room, taking over my life. As much as I love that idea and the image that it conjures up, I just can't do that right now. I made a pact with myself that I would stop buying books, but that doesn't always work the way that you want it to, especially for someone like me who is an impulse shopper. So that's what this video is for. The first book haul of 2021. I'm here to share with you some books I got from some publishers, some books that I bought myself because I couldn't help it, and all of the fun things that go with that. But first, since this video is clearly about me spending way too much money on books, I would love to give a huge thank you to today's very fitting sponsor, ShopTagger. I'm so excited to be working with ShopTagger because I really love them and I feel like you guys will really love them too. ShopTagger is an app and Google Chrome extension that is 100% free, super easy to use, and already my literal best friend. It makes sure that you never miss a price drop or a coupon code on any of your favorite items. You can actually click the link in my description box below if you want to see what I'm talking about. I actually used ShopTagger to get my hands on a copy of Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, which I will talk about more when this haul starts, but ShopTagger let me know when the price dropped by a couple of dollars. I think it was around like 10% off I got, so I could just snatch it up as soon as I could, because as book lovers, we all know that those new releases are rather expensive sometimes. So this was a great tool to help me get my hands on some new releases without having to literally break my bank. Once you click the little button and you have the extension set up in your browser, that's when all the magic happens. You can visit any of your favorite online stores and save whatever you've got your eye on. And ShopTagger will let you know through either email or mobile push notifications when an item that you have saved goes on sale, comes back in stock, or has a nifty little coupon. But guys, one of the things that makes ShopTagger literal heaven for me is their lists feature. You can create different lists to organize everything that you've saved, which is so helpful when you get too click happy and you can't help but press buy now, which, let's face it, that's me. And remember when I said coupons? If you press the little button at checkout, ShopTagger will scan the internet for all sorts of coupon codes that you can use so that you can make sure you are getting the best price. This is actually a special feature of the Google Chrome extension, so you've got to use your computer when you check out for the best deals. And finally, ShopTagger actually just launched a new cashback feature, so you can earn cash via PayPal when you shop from select retail partners and get that max value. So thank you so much to ShopTagger for sponsoring this video and supporting me and my work. Make sure you guys go click the link in the description below so you can download ShopTagger on your phone and your computer and you can start saving as much money as possible. It's the best, I'm telling you. And so now let us get into all of the books that I have to haul today that I'm so excited to share with you. So first up is the book that I already mentioned in this video, and that is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is the third book in the Brown Sisters trilogy. If you are not aware, I have been slowly making my way through this series. It started with Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and then I read Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and now I'm on Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which is a brand new release. I think it just came out this month, like maybe a couple days ago actually. The books are adult romance, so if you are not into very explicit steamy things, do not check these books out, but they are really good if you're into it, and I just do not have enough like praise that I can give these stories. Essentially each one follows one of the Brown sisters, Chloe, Dani, and Eve, and you follow their love stories and just all of the cute things that happen. Get a Life, Chloe Brown was enemies to lovers, Take a Hint, Dani Brown was fake dating, and I'm pretty sure this one is also enemies to lovers, which like can't get enough of that, so I'm here for it. I don't really know too much about the specifics of this story in particular, but I've been hearing a lot of good things about it and I'm just beyond excited to hop in at some point. I'm very happy that I have this and I'm ready. I'm ready for this. The next book I want to talk about is one that I got from a publisher, and that is Muted by Tammy Charles. This is actually a novel told in verse, much like Elizabeth Acevedo's work, which I am obsessed with, as you know if you've been here for a while, so I'm really excited to eventually read this one. From what I know, it's just about a girl and a group of friends who end up making it big in the music industry, and it's basically about all of the like very troubling, like dark things that come along with, you know, success in the music industry, especially being a female and a woman and, you know, working your way through these things. It's something that I'm really excited to get into because I know nothing about the music industry, as I feel like a lot of us are like that. It's one of those things like with, you know, all of the famous people stuff, you know what I mean? that like you're on the outside of it. You don't really know the ins and the outs and, you know, all of the things that are like kept secret from the public, and, you know, you can just speculate, but you don't really know. And so that's why I'm excited to read this one. Also, in case you weren't aware, the naked version of this book is beautiful. I love it. I love it when publishers put their all into the book art. I'm obsessed. I'm here. Let's do this. Let's talk about another book I got from a publisher. This one is from Get Underlined, and it is Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is actually book 2, the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which if you haven't been here on my channel, you might not know that I actually really loved that book. So A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is about a girl named Pip, I think her name is, who is a high school student, possibly. I could be getting the details a little fuzzy because I haven't read it in a while, but it's about a girl named Pip who dives deeper into the mysterious disappearance of a very popular girl at school that happened a couple years ago, and then the subsequent suicide of her boyfriend of the time. Everybody basically blames the boyfriend. They were like, oh, the boyfriend did it, he killed her, blah, blah, blah. But she, Pip, does not believe that, and so she dives deeper into what actually happened with Sal, the boyfriend's brother, who also does not believe that Sal would ever do that. It's a really good story. It has a couple of different like media formats, if that makes sense. So you get the regular narrative of like Pip like in the story, and then you get also her transcripts from interviews, and there might also be like a podcast involved. I'm not 100% sure if I'm mixing that up with another book. Oh, you know what? Okay, I lied. There wasn't a podcast in the last one. This one is the one with the podcast. So after she solves the crime in the last book, Pip starts a podcast that goes viral, I think, and then when somebody that she knows goes missing and the police won't do anything about it, she works with Ravi? Is that what happens? I don't know if she works with Ravi or if she just tries to track this guy down herself. But either way, it's just like a continuation of the previous story with a new mysterious happening going on, and I'm just really excited. I really love murder mystery stories I have found in the past few years, so that's why I was really happy when Get Underlined sent me a copy of this book, because I was really anticipating it and I'm very excited to get into it at some point. There are a couple of books on this list that I ordered just because I did not have copies of them originally. So the first one I have here is a finished copy of The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell. Up until this point, I've literally have only had the ARC of this book, or the advanced reader copy, and it's just been on my shelf for years, I think since like 2018, and I needed a physical copy, so I ordered it for myself. This is the sequel to The Last Magician, which, as I've talked about so many times on my channel already, is one of my absolute favorite series. This book gets even more twisty and turny and crazy suspenseful, and lots of things happen, and so I'm actually currently in the middle of rereading The Last Magician, which will go up in a vlog that will go up when I finish rereading it, but I'm really excited to finish that and then dive into this so I can prepare for The Serpent's Curse, which is the third book in the series. It's such a good series. It's an urban fantasy, it's a heist book, it's got multiple perspectives, it's set in 1902 in New York, so it's a bit historical. It's wonderful. It's so good, and I'm about 100 pages into my reread and I'm remembering why I loved this story so much. So if you haven't read this story yet, it's a really good urban fantasy. I would just highly recommend picking it up because it's good. I like it. And then the other book that I ordered to have a actual physical copy of finally is Scythe by Neal Shusterman. I no longer have to hold up Thunderhead when I'm talking about this series because I have the first book finally. Again, just like with The Devil's Thief, up until this point I only actually had this book on audiobook. So I had a copy of it, I just didn't have a like physical finished copy, and so now I do. If you haven't heard me talk about Scythe and rave about it on my channel for the past however long I've been talking about this series, where have you been? Scythe is such a good, very eerie, like creepy, utopia, dystopia, like mix kind of world. Like the world is supposed to be like a perfect futuristic world of our own world right now, right? But it's got all of these things that are wrong with it, and the Scythedom, who are the people who are tasked for controlling the population, are just running rampant with just all of the bad things. I can't even think of the word right now that I want to use, but corruption, there it is. I actually got somebody that I know in person who I work with to read this series because she really loves YA and fantasy, and I was like, girl, you gotta read these books. So she read them, and she came in one day and she told me she had finished Thunderhead, which is the second book, and she was like, oh my god, the end of that book. And I was like, girl, don't I know? And if you've read the books, you know. So yeah, it's so good. One of my favorite series of all time. I'm so happy that I finally have a physical copy so I can wave it around and say, read this book, and that's that. Next up, I have a book that Simon Teen sent me that I'm really excited to read and hoping that I can get to soon, and that is Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. Yolk is a story about two sisters, Jane and June, who are very different from one another, and they have grown apart over the years when they used to be really close as kids, and they come back together when one of the sisters finds out that she has cancer, and they have to obviously work through some very deep, dark, emotional things through this story. So many people that I know have read this book already and have said nothing but good things about it, so I'm so excited to get into it. I really loved Mary H.K. Choi's other books, Emergency Contact and Permanent Record. Though they weren't like my absolute favorite books of all time, I really did enjoy them, and her writing has a way of being very nuanced and like relevant, and you just feel like you understand it. It's very hard to explain, but her writing is so phenomenal. So I'm really excited to pick this one up, and especially because it's a story about sisters. I love stories about sisters and siblings, and I'm here for this. You probably have already seen this like everywhere online, but like the cover, how it just like continues with their hands onto the bat, is so good. And then what does it look like? Oh, it's so cool. Look at this. Look, can you see? Oh, you can see that it's so cool. I love it. If you've seen my recent vlog for this book, then you'll know that I also got a copy of A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I won't really say anything about this other than that it's the fourth book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, if you don't count the novella, which I don't. I did enjoy this book for the most part, though I did have some problems with it, which you can see if you watch either the vlog or the wrap-up that I put up from last month. But it's a good book. That's about it. I just wanted to show that I'm hauling it. Woo! I also recently went to Barnes & Noble, and while I was shopping around, I saw the new covers of the Graceling series, and I love how they look so much. They're so beautiful, they're recovers, and so I couldn't stop myself from picking up a copy of Bitter Blue by Kristen Cashore. This is the third book in the Graceling Realm series, and I just like, I love the new covers. I don't know if you can see, even though there's like a lot of light happening here, but they're just so pretty, and I actually really love paperback books now. I used to love hardcovers, but paperbacks have taken my heart. They've stolen it, they've run away with it. Paperbacks are great, and so I'm really happy to have this story in the really pretty cover in a paperback, and also it's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. So hopefully eventually when I get into this, it won't take me too long to read, but either way, I'm hoping that it's a really good book. The only thing that I know about this story is that we follow Bitter Blue, who was a character in Graceling, but we didn't see a whole lot of her. She was just a child then, and I think this story takes place a couple years in the future, maybe? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is, and now she is in control of her land or her kingdom or whatever. I don't really know the specifics, as you guys know if you've been here for a while. You know that I don't like really reading summaries that much, but I was really looking forward to this one, so now I have it. I can start it whenever I want. So I have two more books that I want to talk about. The first one is another book from Simon Teen that I got, and that is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I talked about this book in my March TBR because I do have plans on reading this series. Finally, I'm going to just bite the bullet and do it. You may have already seen this, but I just wanted to put it here in this haul because I'm really excited to read it and get back into the Shadowhunter world. It's been so long since I've picked up a Shadowhunter book, and I'm just really eager to do so, especially because so many people are putting up their vlogs and their videos about this story, and so many people are praising it and saying that it broke them in pieces, and I'm like, okay, I need to know what's happening. So here we are. And so the last book that I want to talk about is an ARC that I got from Simon Teen. Again, they just send all of the good things that I'm so excited to share with you guys, and that is The Cost of Knowing by Brittany Morris. Brittany Morris also wrote that book called Slay, which is I think it's like a video game book, right? Like a book about a girl who makes video games or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure that's something about what it is. First of all, this cover is just so beautiful. I just want to point that out. And secondly, the synopsis sounds really interesting. So it's about a 16-year-old boy named Alex who has this ability that whenever he touches an object or a person, he can see into its future. So one day Alex touches a photo which shows him a vision of his brother's imminent death, and he has to try to stop it from happening. The story says at the bottom, with Alex now in a race against time, death, and circumstances, he and Isaiah, who is his brother, must grapple with their past, their future, and what it means to be a young black man in America in the present. I feel like this is going to be a very important book, a story that I'm really going to enjoy, and something that's really going to be, you know, very like even though it has that sort of fantasy element to it of, you know, oh, he can see the future and that kind of thing, I feel like it's going to be very grounded in the real world, and I'm very excited to read this story. And so you guys, those are all of the books that I wanted to haul today. Have you gotten any books recently that you are really excited about reading? Let me know in the comments, because I would love to add some more to my list. I've been really into graphic novels recently for some reason, so if you have any recommendations on those that I can get my hands on, also let me know. Though I do have to say, graphic novels and comics I feel like are so expensive for the tiny little book that you get, which is not like a big deal. I know that there's a lot of work that goes into those books, especially because there's the story and there's the illustrations and everything on top of that, but I feel like they're so expensive and there's so many of them in like a series, you know? So if there's anywhere that you guys read them online, maybe? I already use Hoopla, but obviously you can't find everything on there, so if you guys have any ideas, I would love to know. I also did start using Webtoon to read Heartstopper, so I read Heartstopper Volume 3. So thank you to whoever in the comments told me in my last video to check out Webtoon, because it really helped me. I thank you so much. And if you guys have any other recommendations on that app of stories that I should read, let me know. And thank you once again to ShopTagger for sponsoring this video and helping to support me and my work. Make sure you guys go check out the link in the description below to download ShopTagger on your computer and to start saving money and creating lists and doing all of the cool stuff that it lets you do. And other than that, I think that's going to be it for this video. So if you guys want to follow me on any of my socials, all my handles are in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later. Bye!